Hey, Lataben, are you there?
Huh?
Hey, Sajjan Pulinanandji.
Hey, Satyanand.
Lataben, are you there?
Yes, Satchidanand. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
there.
it's Sajjan. Okay. Pulinanandji, 3 months, please, bolao. Lataben, please follow.
Namo Vitragay.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vasayanam.
Namo Uvasayanam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Namo Loke Savasahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukkharo.
Vapanasano.
Sarvabhava
Manglanancha Savese.
Mangalam Susavesim.
Padmam Havai Mangalam.
Paramahai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Hey, Satchidanand, welcome everybody. Atma. Okay, last time, about 3 weeks ago, we left at column number 1, 2, 3. So, anyone to share any experience?
And I think we also said that do something about column 4.
Column 4, correct. Think about column 4, yeah.
I think about it in anything, any experience or anything crops up.
Yeah. So why don't you introduce column 4, Pulinanandji, while people are thinking?
Yeah. 28. Column 4, okay. Abhav tiraskar, na karay, na karawai, karta pratyay na anumoday. Dislike or hatred. May I not have dislike or hatred towards any living being. So first thing is the dislike, which is a abhav or slightly milder form of this thing, which in the mind we dislike someone's behavior, someone's actions, someone's speech, and we may voice it out, we may not voice it out. Generally, it's not voiced out. Dislike is within. That is because the person's behavior, actions are not in line with our liking. What I feel is right, what I feel is nice, or what I feel is appropriate. So then this gives rise to dislike. And hatred, tiraskar, is a very stronger form of that, where it is generally voiced out and it may be visible even in actions. So sort of, I do not know what exact word to put, somewhere between disgust or contempt or something over there. The essence of the word hatred would go, or tiraskar, above tiraskar. And then Dada Bhagwan has also said that 4 types of bhav, abhav, hinsak bhav, pida karak bhav, abhav bhav, and tiraskar bhav. So we should definitely get over these 2, dislike and hatred. And a lot of purusharth lies in this particular kalam, because this is bound to happen. We will have on and off dislikes, if not hatred, but dislikes, yes. Because all of us have brought some design of what is appropriate, right, good. And when it falls outside that, it will lead to dislike and hatred. So when a person is asking strength for not doing this, when I say not, I also mean not asking others to do and not supporting others doing it. Karyu karavyu ne anubhavyu. I mean all 3. So So that will lead, when a dislike props up, it will lead to self-discovery, in the sense that I will come to know what is it that has triggered the dislike, what is my belief system against which someone is behaving in a manner which is giving rise to dislike, and discovering that belief system, and then reconciling your belief system and the person's behavior, such that whatever interaction you have to do at that point of time, or whatever interaction has propped up, whatever व्यवहार has come up at that point of time, that is amicably settled. Amically, in the sense the other person is not hurt, neither are you hurt. You may have to undergo a bit of tap, penance, or swallowing of hard feelings, but it will, in the process, in the process, it will exhaust our karmas, our belief systems, make us more anchored in the soul, more anchored in the soul, vis-a-vis getting entangled with the Prakruti or file number one. We are either engrossed with our file number one, or we are aloof and anchored in the pure soul consciousness, or Atma Jagrati. So this will do two things. Asking of strength of this Kalam will do two things. It will increase our awareness whenever dislike or hatred props up or comes up. It will increase our awareness, and that we have resolved not to do this. It will lead to self-introspection, discovery of our own Prakruti as what has caused this dislike and hatred, and then applying the Gnan over there, whatever Agnya or Gnan or whatever understanding, such that this dislike or hatred is nullified. And that is the essence of asking this strength. That again, we withdraw from the Prakruti, our own file number one. We exhaust the beliefs that we have brought of what is right and what is wrong, and go towards pure soul consciousness, or Atma Jagrati. The summary of all now Kalams is, cleansing of Prakruti or file number one. Cleansing is cleansing of the Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobha, anger, pride, deceit, and greed. Cleansing of the attachment and abhorrence, Ragdvesh, such that all the Parmanus from which this whole body is made up of, are cleansed, and going towards liberation or moksha. Increasing our self-awareness. This will increase our self-awareness. The moment these are cleansed, self-awareness automatically increases by default. Because these are only wheels. These are wheels to having an enhanced self-awareness of Atma Jagrati. So as these go, the self-awareness increases, and the more the self-awareness, the more the Atma Jagrati, the more you will see all such defilements in file number one. And more we observe those, the more will they go. Provided it is our conscious decision that we want to cleanse or clear of all this. Hence, to reinforce our decision of cleansing, now Kalams, or asking of the strength of the now Kalams, is one of the process or paths, which tells what an ideal Prakruti should be, which is free from Ragdvesh or attachment and abhorrence. So, this is the summary as it comes to me right now. Jai Sachidanand.
Nice. Deepakanandji?
Jai Sachidanand. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, very nicely said. I'll just supplement a little bit what Dada Bhagwan had said, that the violent feelings, that is in Satbhav, Vidakaratbhav is the feeling to hurt others. Tiraskar bhav, that is hatred. Hatred is like we don't accept and we don't want the existence of the other person out of my sight, out of my life. And the last one is dislike, abhav bhav. Very commonly, this feeling of dislike comes when I come to know that the other person is having lesser understanding than mine. He knows little less than what I know, and I have somehow felt that I know more than the other person. Then I start having this feeling of dislike. And secondly, what Pulinanandji has very well said, that when the other person is doing something or telling something which is not as per your uh, decision or your viewpoint, then that feeling of dislike definitely comes. But what Dada Bhagwan has said, that out of grace, he took us out from violent feeling and feeling to hurt others. We can very well experience that normally we don't get that feeling to hurt others. So that is definitely a great achievement. And the last two, that is hatred and dislike. So he said that we must come out of, because I feel that hatred is particularly very strong feeling of dislike when you are very much against someone's belief or you just don't like, and it's a very deep dislike that you just can't bear it like that. So he said that we Mahatmas should come out of this feeling of hatred. And even if we come out of, we are in that feeling, we have feeling of dislike, we must do pratikraman. That is, we keep asking forgiveness for this feeling of dislike. And he so nicely said that Dada Bhagwan had, Lord Mahavira crossed all these four feelings, that is, violent feeling, feeling to hurt others, hatred, and dislike, and he mounted the pedestal of absolute knowledge, that is Vitrag Vigdan. So we are not that far, but at the same time, through the science of Akalam Vigdan, that is absolute science, what Dada Bhagwan has given us, understanding that science and asking for forgiveness of our mistakes, our dislike, we will also climb that pedestal of absolute knowledge. And that journey is not that long, that far, but we have to be seriously thinking and doing Purusharth, being very vigilant on this part of dislike and hatred. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Okay, anybody have comments on this or anybody wants to talk up more?
I have a question. This is more I want to clarify. See, I really want to understand hatred. I understand. When it comes to, say, bringing up children, quite often we discipline them. As mothers, especially, there is a lot of disciplining when they are small. Then what happens is, like, when they grow up also, like if they don't do, you are not tolerant, okay? It is not dislike, it is not, but it brings in a lot of discord. When somebody has grown up, so where do you draw a line? Are you responsible for, when the children are small, yes, to a large extent, you need to teach them, you need to discipline them. But at what stage, at what time do you actually kind of take your hands off? When do you have to do that? That brings in discord. isn't that also included when it comes to, you're very, maybe to some extent, it just goes to the point where my way or highway, that kind of a thing. So I just want to clarify, like, I mean, how do you draw a line, or when do you draw?
No, it is fine. It is fine. This will happen. This will happen. So the line is, as the children have grown up, the ego has come into foreplay, 16 plus, when I say children. Then anything beyond 24, 25 years of age, we have to leave it, means allow their beliefs or whatever they want to do. You can always disagree with them or say this is not right, this is wrong, and all that stuff. So that will remain being a mother, because you have some expectations from them. You have raised the child, so you have deep expectations and you have deep attachment also for the child. In the interest of the child and welfare of the child, there are some inappropriate or harmful behaviors which might harm the child himself, the person himself. This will prop up. So where do you draw the line? The line is you have to do your role play, but without dvesh or abhorrence, So that is cultivating that jagrati, cultivating that understanding that whenever there will be a discord or there's a disagreement or the viewpoints differ. Basically, when the viewpoints differ or the behaviors differ, there, speaking up your mind, telling what is right or telling what you feel is right, without hurting the other person. So you have to put in a filter that may I say so that it does not hurt the other person or it is convenient to the other person, and then speak out. So you will do your role play, voice out your opinion. The other person will not get, other person's ego will not be hurt, and your dislike or hatred will be under control. And you have to, it will lead to your understanding that this is your karmic account of hisab. This is what you have brought with this person, vis-a-vis this person, the children basically, and you are squaring off that. And one step below, beyond, one step deeper to that is you have done something, some error, mistake, or whatever, somewhere else, and then it is reflecting as a pain from this child or person because his behaviors are not in consonance with your expectations. So it will lead to further self-introspection that chalo, my karmic hisab or karmic account is getting settled. My hurt, which may I have caused to others, is getting settled by I receiving the hurt from this person. So that is the deeper or broader understanding which you have to keep at the back of your mind, so that one behavior does not reflect into a prejudice that every time he does like this, he's like that only. Even if you have that prejudice, it will not result in hatred or disgust or contempt or dislike. That will pop up, but then this is the way you have to do it. But basically, in essence, in summary, you have to dramatically role play out without your ego getting into it and just play it out. So when you say this kalam, that part will be withdrawn. The dislike part will be withdrawn. And at the same time, you will voice out your role. You will not get hurt, he will not get hurt, and the role play will take place.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Deepakanandji?
Yeah, it's a wonderful point. Just let us take a case that your child and someone else's child both are playing. They're playing together. And you see something wrong with your child, and at the same time you see something wrong with the other child also, see, that feeling of dislike will not pop up for your child. For your child, you will have that concern that this is not right he's doing. But when it is about the other child, other person's child, that feeling of dislike will definitely come. I feel you can understand that. So please unmute. You are muted.
Yeah,
Ah,
very true.
see that. Yes, it's like when you see your child doing anything wrong, it is your concern. That feeling of dislike is never there because that heart connection is always there. The hearty connection never breaks with your children, but you have no hearty connection with anybody's child, any other person's children, right? And when you see anything wrong with them, then a strong feeling of dislike can come very easily. So in that situation, what you, as we have said, that see, everyone don't take all that care and nurturing to take care of the children. You will have a feeling that, okay, you may pray also that let this child also get the right nurturing so he or she doesn't do anything wrong like that when he or she is out with other children, right? So
Right.
here that demarcation is there, that connection is never broken. So I doubt, because I'm not a mother, but this is my observation, that mothers, their connection is so strong, hearty connection, that she will never have any dislike of that sort. Yes, it will always be, her concern will be there to discipline the child. Correct? I mean, you can give a better observation because you are a mother.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Jai Satchidanand. Because see, I just recall, if that feeling of dislike is there, you will stop disciplining your child. Because then when you have dislike, you have a feeling of, I don't care. But no, for your child, you definitely care, you have concern, and you don't tolerate his misdoing. And you want to
Very
correct
true.
that. Yeah,
Very
so that is there. And I feel, even Dada has said, mothers need not be punished for such harsh dealing at times with their children, because at her heart level, there is no violent feeling at all. But it is her concern that makes her do all these things. Maybe she will shout, maybe beating up is something a very bad, different part, but you may slap. We were all beaten with stick and whatnot. But because we were never listening, we were never disciplined, we just were very bad, I will say. But eventually, the hearty connection is, see, that don't care condition, you will stop correcting. That never happens with your children, for your children. It always, your concern remains forever, because that hearty connection is always there. Right? Jai Satchidanand. I think so.
No, I said, like, it takes some time to let go. And say that, let them kind of manage, at some stage. Am I audible?
Then you were breaking.
Can you repeat?
The voice
please?
was breaking.
Yeah, I said, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I said, yeah, what you say is absolutely true. That's true. Very true.
So you develop that skill of letting go. Letting go of your viewpoint.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, very well. This is better. Sharp and crisp voice. I feel Pooja may be able to contribute this very good because she deals
Can
with
you
her
hear me now?
two girls.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll just have to figure out. Yeah.
So you want to say something, Lata ma'am?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is better.
Yeah. Okay. What you said is 100% true, that continues, for a long time, for a mother especially.
I feel we should take feedback from Pooja also. She deals with her two daughters. If she is available, maybe because the time their people are working.
No,
Yeah, Pooja.
I'm here, Deepakanandji.
Yeah, please share your experience with your girls.
With my girls and with my family members, I guess, with the Kalam 4, I've noted, comparing maybe about a year ago, the same type of, I've identified, the triggers of where Puja tends to slip into this abhav tiraskar type of formation, whether, especially with the spouse and with the girls. And I've noticed that, I oscillate between seeing them as nirdosh and then when it's like repeated, things that go against my Prakruti or my design, then I fall into like these, it's probably not about tiraskar, but it's kind of that category of that direction. And then I come back and I say, no, this is, you have to keep reminding, no, this is, they're not the doers, and this is bring that nirdosh drashti back. But I often see that I also go back and forth between leading as an example, because you're a mother, a maternal, it's the only maternal figure that they see, right? I have two girls. So I also want to show them that they have a voice, they should be able to speak up, they should be able to use Syad Vadvani, in those terms, and not be afraid to express themselves. So that is the kind of a fine line, and in my, maybe that's not well seen and well I guess approved or received in my surroundings, but I feel like still I need to show them that viewpoint of a maternal figure. So I don't know if that helps, but it kind of muddies the water a little bit, because then sometimes I often do go into this cycle. And my question maybe might be, what are the big consequences of this abhav tiraskar? Because sometimes if there might be a period of time, in fact, there is a period of time where I just need a break from a file, because I need to collect my thoughts and bring my nirdosh drashti back. And for that period of time, it's very hard for me to interact with that file.
Pulinanandji?
That is right. That is right. I just, before I answer this second part of this thing, you said that with the girls, you generally allow them to express themselves. That is the maternal figure they are seeing. And so you speak to them in a manner which you don't oppress or suppress them. And this thing. So that is fine. Basically, you have to show an ideal behavior. Now, perhaps there is a hidden desire behind this behavior of yours, that in future, in life, if you are faced in a situation of where you are sort of suppressed, don't get suppressed, just speak out and stand up for yourself. Maybe it's a subtle inner dimension to what you have been going through or may have gone through in the past, and then you don't want that to happen with the girls, and so you allow them to do. That is fine. In a way, it is not wrong. It is perfect. But also see to it that somewhere they see your tolerant behavior, somewhere they see your top and acceptance of people's behavior and situations and letting things go. Somewhere they see your approach and attitude of adjustments, you know. So that is the quality which will stand them in greater deed in the long term. Because every time being assertive and pushing your way through may not be the ideal way to be successful in worldly life. You can't always have your way. So see to it that somewhere they don't get into that trap. Right now it will rub into them very unconsciously. But as they grow older, as their ego becomes more stronger and more vocal, if this is at the back of the mind, then the capacity to adjust and accept people's behaviors which don't fall in line with your thinking, that capacity should remain intact, you see. Because Dada Bhagwan said that in this Kali Yuga, we have to learn the skill of adjustment if you want to go to moksha, to avoid clashes and whatever. So see to it that that part is also visible to them. I don't know how. I don't know whether I'm putting across my point, but
No, I know. No, I see. I see that. Make sure it's balanced.
inside me comes out in a different manner. It should not. Just because you are not able to get your way does not mean they should not fall into that trap. They have their own vyavastha. They have their own hisab, you see. So we have to teach them the good qualities. Of course, being assertive is a good quality. I fully agree with you. But not being too rigid about getting your way, expressing yourself outright, and you may land. That the quality of adjustment should be there. Especially as you know, in our mindset and culture, the woman goes to the husband's house and adjustments are inbuilt. In India, it is little more. America, it's not so more. There's your gender equality between men and women. So that much is not there. But for the purpose of moksha, this quality of adjustment, see to it that portion does not. They also see that aspect of it. Mama is adjusting. And it can be brought out very easily. You don't want to, oh, okay, chalo. And then sometimes you see, because of this, I've gone through so much of trouble. I'm so much tired. I've done this. So they see, Mama is adjusting me, for me, to help me. Hence, I must also learn the quality of adjustment for someone. That is necessary. Otherwise, whatever behaviors we carry inside us, or whatever thinking we carry inside us, gets reflected, and then it'll rub into them unconsciously also. If you are, as you said, some file, it's from the file, my thoughts and all that. So that is where such things which is happening inside you will then they will read it. You know, they'll come to know about it. They will not know, but it unconsciously happened to them. So that was point one. Point two was that there is a file where you need to collect. You need space from that file to collect yourself and reconcile to the Dada's teachings. That is true. That is true. That could happen. That could happen. And if it's not a physical space, means physically you're away for a few days, it could be a mental space, maybe late night, early mornings or whatever, when you're alone by yourself. And talking it out to yourself or thinking it over and just reconciling that this was his behavior or her behavior and this is my behavior, and then what are Dada's teachings and how to reconcile and what is the way forward, what is the solution forward, going forward. So that space has to be generated in your isolation time. It could be, as I said, before you wake up. That will happen. That will happen. And in a way, it is good, Pooja. I would just say one thing, that so many adverse circumstances for anybody pushes one towards the pure soul. The discharge more worldly attachment and feelings get fractured, and it firms up. It firms up your resolve to go to moksha, to be away from all the files, that there is no happiness in this worldly life. It will firm up that portion.
Mhm.
Now make the use of this opportunity to firm up that this thing, inner desire for that. Now I want to square up all accounts and go to moksha. Typically what happens, Mahatmas will fall in two categories. Either they want the worldly thing to be sorted out and worldly peace, or vyavharni niraposa, things are goody goody. So I use others now so that the other person's behavior or me or the discord or discontent is sorted out. But still I want world. There is nothing wrong in that. There is nothing wrong in that. But if that doesn't work, then use this as an opportunity to remain in the soul and cut off all the beliefs that we have brought, that there is happiness in this worldly life. Sansarma sukh છે એવી માન્યતાને તોડવાની. અને હવે મોક્ષે જવું છે. See, મોક્ષે જવું is not really what people want. People want freedom from the sufferings in the worldly life. They want the worldly life to be repaired and very nice. The only talk I want to go to moksha because worldly life is not very happy or cozy or comfortable. But truly worldly life is letting go of, I want to be free from these cycles of birth and death. I don't want materialistic happiness. There is no materialistic happiness in this worldly life. Happiness is in the pure soul. So use this set of situation to reinforce your desire to go to moksha in this manner, away from the worldly happiness. At a personal level, as you said, that there is a file or are a few files where it comes to your head to such a high extent that now you need space. Just interaction away and then collect your thoughts and all that, because you have done too much of adjustment, you have done too much of this, and now it's too much to bear. That's the level when person rises, he says, now I want space. How much can I tolerate? How much can I adjust? How much can I just go? So it's true. You need space. Think it over and see to it that how best you should interact or behave with that person so that it doesn't reach a breaking point. Now I'm space. It's a continuous process. There'll be a few days of adjustment, applying. It might work, it might not work. Then again, it comes to your head beyond the bearing capacity, and then again you want some space. And so to realign your purusharths, essentially you have to realign your thinking, your purusharths, and see to it how you can manage your tap or unfavorable circumstances. How you can manage with that unfavorable thing so that you are in a reasonable level of balance. So that space factor, use it for going towards moksha. And this is what comes to me as part of my comments on your first one or two queries.
Yes, Susanna, thank you.
Deepakanandji?
See, first thing, again, if you compare what feelings you have for your children, your girls, and even your spouse and your in-laws, when anything you get confronted with your children, that feeling of compassion, that oneness is always there. And it's your concern, I'll say it's your deep concern that you want to say that, please, my baby, please don't do that. It's not good for you and all that. But that reaction or that is very negative with even your spouse, your husband, and his parents. But when it comes to your parents, it is between compassion and what extremities you feel with your spouse and your in-laws. So it's a great, I will say, challenge But again, here we would say that that feeling of dislike can easily pop up for everyone other than your children, but not for your children. For your children, you have a deep concern, and the repercussion of above. I mean, hatred and dislike is first thing. Immediate effect is you fail to experience the bliss what you have acquired with this knowledge. And then when you try to understand and resolve things, understand it right way, gradually that compassion will come. That the way you have changed, like just imagine, for Dada Bhagwan, everyone who came to him was his child, his children. And he dealt with them with that compassion.
Yeah.
He never had any kind of dislike. So that is where I feel we have to become a bigger mother. But first of all, we have to, overcome these feelings for others. Definitely for children, you have no problem. It's your concern that it's like also when they are not performing well, you feel people are going to blame me for all whatever they do. This is their mother didn't take care of her children and all that. So that concern is also there, but still there is no factor of dislike for your children. But definitely for all others, this is there. That feeling of dislike and at times hatred is also there. I believe because of hatred, family break out in the sense that they want to separate out, they want to live separately away from their in-laws. Just to understand. So this is the situation. And of course, for our journey to moksha, we have to gradually develop through the science of absolutism, Vitak Vignan. We have to develop that compassion. And when that compassion comes up, that dislike will gradually go away. And it will be your concern and all your dealing will be very compassionate. It will not be blunt or hurting. Jai Satchidanand.
Okay. Thank you, Jai Satchidanand.
Thanks, Satchidanand. Okay. Anybody else? Miraben?
All these mothers can share their experience.
Jai Satchidanand. Ayo, sorry, I'm also seem to be a mother to a little dog now. Okay, come. So all I wanted to say, Jai Satchidanand, Pulinanandji, Deepakanandji, Rajni Dada, everybody, all Mahatmas, I completely understand, and I was following the satsang so excitedly because it is our life as mothers, as following also in this path of Jnana. I will tell you, Pooja, when my daughters were young, I used to yell at my husband in the minute that he yelled at me, okay? In front of my in-laws, and I would tell myself, I would do pratikraman immediately. I would say, oh my God, Meera, why are you yelling like this? This is so horrible. This is so bad. This is everything. Then, as the Jnana started to take hold, it is Meera's thing that all these situations are happening. It is Meera's life, Meera's Prakruti, Meera's Vivasthit, Meera's everything that is happening. And what is interesting is similarly, my in-laws used to live with me many years. And I would, I'm telling you, this Jnana is amazing because in the beginning, I would think, my God, why is this? Why is that? And suddenly you realize it's all Vivasthit. It is the reason Meera is becoming honed. Meera is becoming golden. Not Meera, but Meera's Sobhav is becoming golden, but Shuddhatma is coming through. Now my daughters are older. They understand the concept of adjustment because now they see that we adjust with everyone, that we don't want to fight. First, they used to ask me, Amma, why are you not sticking up for yourself? Why are you not? And now they see that sometimes we have to be strong. We have to say our piece, but we say it in words that don't hurt. So we are expressing ourselves in that whatever Vivasit allows us to express, but at the same time, we don't hurt and we don't want to hurt. And Pooja, you're amazing. You're on the right path. Thanks to Pulinanandji and Deepakanandji for this wonderful satsang. It works. Dada's Nyan works. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai
Any
Sachidanand.
comment, Pulinanandji, Deepakanandji on that?
No, these methods are amazing, I will say, and Dada is great.
Yeah, I can
That's
only,
great.
both of them have reasonably, both of them are correct, and have understood Dada's Gnan very well and are applying the best of their abilities. So it is basically realizing their own Prakruti, file number 1. What are the inherent traits they have brought as a mother? There's a bit of mamta or minus, because you are, it's a very big thing to rear the child in the womb for 9 months, then raise the child. A lot of time, energy has gone into it. So that, and unless you have mamta, you cannot raise a child. The men will never be able to do it. So that is a natural gift nature has put in women. And now for world, if one wants to remain in the world, yes, that quality can be enhanced. But as you grow older, as the children grow older, then that quality of mamta can be diluted. Mamta has to be remain. I'm not saying remove the mamta, it will not work either. But it can be made superfluous or with lower intensity, lighter, superfluous mamta. So the way going forward is observing that it is this mamta that is playing out. Mamta means minus. And gradually make it superfluous. And if you want, you can add an element of, to your mamta, that as you say, my daughter, my son, my husband, my so and so, you can say my soul. Have mamta or care and concern for your soul. Soul means Atma Jagrati or soul awareness. So also develop that, what is my soul awareness? How much am I alert to what file number is doing, one is doing? So be develop a concern for your soul awareness. Let the mamta remain, but let it get slightly shifted towards my awareness, my soul awareness. Not only my child, my husband, my house, my materialistic things, which means clothes, watch, etc., etc., etc. That will remain. That is part of discharge. So only thing that will be observed with the help of Gnan, it will come and go, come and go. There is no other way. But if you also develop, it will take time, but I'm saying if you develop a concern for your soul awareness, and that will help you to make the worldly mamta superfluous. The worldly mamta, it becomes so, because you are equally concerned about your soul awareness. Like a person is concerned about his daughter or son, he's also concerned about the husband. But if he or she is more concerned about daughter, then the concern for husband or others will reduce. So if you're more concerned about your Atma Jagrati, the other thing will remain. It won't go away because it's anyway ingrained and part of your state. But the intensity and passion that is associated with it, that will reduce. And then it will result in superfluous. So your role play will go well as a mother. Your role play of care and concern will also go away. But it won't be so intense such that in case they behave against that, you will be affected. No, it is superfluous. Because you have got something else to be more concerned about. This is just one dimension of bringing your awareness towards your soul and making that mamta superfluous. A way of thinking. It could be other purushas, but just that comes to my mind. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. We have 10 minutes. What do you want to do? Want to do some Charan Vidi? Oh, Rani. Okay, Rani.
JSS Apt Pulinanandji and Deepakanandji and all
Jai
Mahatmas.
Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. I definitely have lots of this, or this is a constant column that I have to go back and focus on, because I think especially at work, I get irritated, and I want to share one story, but to give hope at the end. But one of, I think for me, where I feel the hatred piece, which I notice more and more as I have to deploy to these like emergency and often terrible situations where sometimes you are placed in positions where you see kind of the worst of humanity, criminal behavior, abuse of women, abuse of children. And that's where it's I feel like this is very much very tested, to stay separate and giving an opinion, or not wanting to see those people when they're out and you see the abuses happening. I think that's been hard. I don't remember having these kinds of feelings when I was young, but sometimes the more you see of the world, and sometimes in the field that I'm in, the state, you see the best in humanity, but sometimes you really see the worst. And I think that's where I struggle sometimes to let go of that judgment, and that, it is abhorrence, because I'm like, I find that those behaviors are, file number 1 finds those types of abusive behaviors abhorrent, so that's where I'm struggling. And then if we have time, or even next week, I can share a positive experience I went through with work, with practicing this column with a very particular coworker. So I'll stop there for the question first, but that's where I feel file number 1 for me is really struggling.
The only answer to that is, because you said that you are doing some work where you come across such behaviors. So one of the ways is to say a small prayer. May their well-being take place. May they get good intellect, sadbuddhi, I don't know what. May they get proper understanding.
Right intellect.
Right intellect. Huh? So you have to pray to the person who is oppressing the person. This abuse of women and children. So the men, obviously. So may they get the right intellect. May get the right understanding. May their well-being take place. So you have to pray for the person who is aggressive, and also for the person who is oppressed. May her well-being take place, and also may the oppressor get the proper intellect, the proper understanding. Those prayers are the positive prayers which will reach out to them. But more than that, it will have an impact on your abhorrence that is coming within you. So when the moment you pray for the well-being, okay, you have done what is in your control. You don't have the control over how the other person should behave with that woman. But, because that is what docs discuss. Supposing you had control on that, then you would have really given a piece of your mind to them. But since you don't have that control, it is like a fire that is raging within you. How can such a person such a thing to a woman?
Yeah.
That is creating a rage within you, which has mellowed down over a period of time, but that is still there. You see, gross injustice to womankind. So the only answer is praying for the well-being of both the oppressed and the oppressed. And genuine, you can sit down for 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes before you're free, and whenever you have seen such a situation, and just pray it heartily, for them. Now that will calm down the rage within you.
Yes.
Because in this Kali Yuga, many such things are taking place all over the world. Incidentally, your work has brought you in a place where you're seeing those things. People like us have not seen it, but we only read in the newspaper and all that, like that. But when it comes face to face, it definitely develops the feelings that you are going through. I fully understand. It's very natural. And the answer is, may the well-being take place. And maybe if it's still, say, 5-3 mantras, hey Dada Bhagwan, please take care of them, give them the good intellect, may the well-being of both take place. Do an intense prayer to Dada Bhagwan. Say 5-3 mantras, do that. I tell you, it will cool down your intellect, it will cool down your cool down your feelings. That is the answer to what do I do. Because we can control the things that are happening inside 5-1. We have a limited control on the other side, apart from counseling, giving good advice. You understand? So this is one of the thoughts.
Thank you. I'll definitely do that. Because it
Deepakanandji?
is, that rage has built and grown over time since this particular assignment started, where I had to be in those traumatic situations too. I think this will help me a lot, because I'm carrying a lot of that for a while, and I didn't know kind of what the solution was. So this is just beautiful to even hear. It feels like, okay, this is definitely internally the right thing to do. So thank you. Jai Satchidanand.
Dada Bhagwan,
Deepakanandji?
just a minute. Dada Bhagwan did that precisely. He knew the entire world is in fire and rage and discomfort and agony and suffering. And he could see it in his divine knowledge. And that was his intense prayer, an intense desire, I would say, that may the welfare of the entire world take place. Aka Jagat nu kalyan. And then that intense desire has percolated into his sending out, doing all the satsangs, then he Apta Udras Mahatmas, and spreading out the right concepts and peace and all that. So same thing you can do at a limited level, at your level. Not for so initially it is, the answer is to quell your inner rage or discomfort.
Exactly.
Yes.
Jai Satchidanand.
Deepakanandji?
Jai Satchidanand, just imagine that during all these wise people, Tirthankaras, when they were around in the world, this thing was going on all the way. But just imagine, how did they view the whole situation? Where was that that feeling of compassion, that compassionate feeling? See, the compassion can come and will come when we understand why this thing is happening. So we probably see only a particular aspect of the whole happening. But when we see the complete picture, in the sense past, present, and future, then we can very easily understand and appreciate why this person is doing this thing to this person, his past karmas, and this guy doesn't know what he's doing and what is he up to and what is he binding for himself. So this is how things get paid, and one's mistake gets paid, and at the same time other is causing a new karma. But then that feeling of compassion, that is to see both of them innocent, that's a great art which Dada has given us. So we can pray, definitely, no doubt, but we must start living those principles what Dada has imbibed within us, opened within us, and that is our biggest challenge. And just imagine, like what we can say, when someone is hurting others, especially humans, then what Dada has said, be a good human first. What does that mean? Human is one who understands the feeling of others. Animals don't understand feeling of others. They are natural, but we see them as mean, that for their food and for anything, they can kill anyone. But they are not killing. This is our attitude, our vision. They are just fulfilling their thirst and hunger. And in that part, they don't see that who they are eating, how they are eating. It is their food. So we must have that feeling of compassion, that compassionate feeling, and think how Dada and all these great people had this feeling, and they could see both of them innocent, because nothing happens without nothing. There is a reason for everything to happen. So as we evaluate, and I believe as we go into deeper into Dada science, Vitrag Vignan, absolute science, it will unravel all these questions, and at the same time it will open that feeling of compassion within us. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai
Just one minute. I
Satchidanand.
know.
Okay.
I
Our
just-
time is up, but
Yeah, I know time is up. Just 1 minute. I always wanted to repeat what the Deepakanand said. He said a very valid point.
Yeah, please elaborate. It will be better.
It's a very valid point. So I just wanted to repeat. You see, Rani, he said, we must see the whole picture. How Tirthankars were equanimous or with. So we are seeing partial picture that husband or the male is abusing the female. No, there is no effect without a cause. So maybe the female has done something in the past, which is
Right.
reflected. You see, this is the whole picture. So when I see the whole picture, then well-being of both will come deep down heartily. Let the
Yeah.
woman or well-being of the woman, so that she doesn't repeat whatever mistakes she has done in the past, and give her the strength to settle this account. And well-being of the male, that you also don't do it again. Seeing the whole picture means the cause-effect principle. Some causes were that which has led to this effect. We are seeing only this part of the effect. We are not seeing the previous cause part of it. So she has done something like that, because of which she is suffering today. What that is, I don't know, or we don't know, but we can guess it what it could be. But let that cause be what it is. But it is a cause-effect relationship. So welfare of both. Now with this vision, you will be able to pray very easily for the welfare of both.
Yes.
Equanimously. Otherwise, usually one-sided. The male is
Exactly.
wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yes.
So this will help you. That's all. Jai Sachin.
Jai Sachin.
Just half a minute. Just half a minute. See,
okay.
what I would, just see what Dada has said. Yes, everything happens, nothing happens without nothing. That is true. But we must have that wisdom that we don't become instrument that is limited to trouble or hurt our own family members. So have that wisdom to drain out all your aggression out of the family, outside home. Yes, although your accounts are getting settled, but be wise enough to blow all your feeling outside home. Because see, you know that at home nobody's going to retaliate, but outside you know the guy is going to bash you up. So you will not do certain things just out of that fear. That's it. So don't be an instrument to hurt others at home. Be an instrument to help and live with that compassion. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. You know, this Rani brought a very good point, you know. So for the next week, you know, think about not our dislike or hatred, but others people towards you, you know. Just watch out at workplaces and all that stuff. Because you imagine in 45 years ago, you know, when I become a manager, Desi become a manager with all the other people, you know, that was really tough and you have to take a lot of abuses from the other side. So just think about that also at work. I don't know about now how bad it is, but our time it was really interesting. Okay, our time is up. Deepakanandji, can you do 3 mantra, please? Everybody follow.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Varihantanam.
Variyantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo Uvasayanam.
Namo Loe Savva Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchana Mukaro.
Savvapavapranasano
Sarvapavaparasano
Mangalanam cha Sauvesim
Manglaram cha Sarvesim
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Paramam Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.